Am I early? Am I early? As the British people would say. Am I early? Hello everyone, welcome to Bayern Now, the ultimate Bayern Munich fan channel. We are here today to talk about one of my most vocal opinions, okay? Joshua Kimmich. Joshua Kimmich. The guy who I said was the best right back in the world last season. I think he should not be playing midfield. Oh wow, what a surprise. The guy who's the best in his position playing a different position. So if you're on the stream right now, leave a like on the video. You don't have to agree with my opinion. You don't even have to think I'm a smart person. You don't have to think I'm a genius. But you can also know that we can share the same opinion. So hopefully we share the same opinion. So my opinion is that Kimmich is not good in midfield. I say it all the time. Kimmich is a liability in midfield. If you go through my videos, every match reaction where Kimmich has played midfield, I have always hated it. For me, to be able to be a midfielder, first of all, you have to be a midfielder. You have to have the traits of a midfielder, especially a defensive midfielder. For me, with the way Bayern play and with the way we control possession and all that, our defensive midfielder needs to be able to win lots and lots of freaking tackles. You need to win so many tackles that your last name is Tackles. Okay? I call Thiago ready to tackle Alcantara because he tackles. Thiago makes a lot of freaking tackles. He covers a lot of ground. Kimmich covers ground, but he's not making the tackles. He's not making the key interceptions. You know, I remember watching Patrick Vieira, man, and he would just always make that crucial tackle that protects the defense. N'Golo Kante does the same thing when he's playing defensive midfielder for Chelsea. Wilfred Ndidi at Leicester does the same thing. You have so many defensive midfielders. Alan at Napoli is such a destructive defensive midfielder, breaking up play, putting out fires before they start. Why do you think we concede so many chances? Because we don't have that natural, powerful CDM to just be in there. Thiago can do it, but he's also not able to have the tenacity of a natural CDM. Thiago can do it because he's so technical and he's just a good footballer and he can tackle and all that, but he can't do it fully to the best we need because he's not a natural CDM. So for me, at the moment, we shouldn't be looking to make Kimmich a midfielder. We should be looking to keep Kimmich a right back where he's actually decent forever, and then look for a defensive midfielder. I've said it, we need a CDM. I don't care. Kimmich, yeah, he makes 10,000 passes. So does Thiago when he plays in the position. Thiago makes the same passes Kimmich makes, right? Except Thiago's passes are a lot saucier. Thiago turns and is anti-pressure. For me, Thiago is a better midfielder than Kimmich. A lot of people have been arguing Kimmich is like Lahm. Nope, he's not. Actually, Kimmich couldn't and Lahm could not be more opposite. Lahm was a leader, captain, a great man, right? But he also had the ability to defend. Philipp Lahm was one of the best right backs of all time, essentially, because of his ability to defend. The tackles. Philipp Lahm could tackle. Kimmich cannot tackle. He does this half tackle thing where he puts his body in, but not really, and then ends up getting turned on and getting beaten. Kimmich isn't a defensive midfielder. Kimmich is not like Lahm. Lahm played midfield because he was so good at right back defensively that Pep just needed him there for a season. But Philipp Lahm played where the team needed him. He didn't say, I prefer playing CDM. I prefer playing right back. He never said that. Kimmich is trying to ruin what he's built up himself. If you had a great season at right back, I think he got like 20 plus assists last season, right? If you've had that great season at right back, why then would you switch? That's like going out, right? Going out and a girl tells you, wow, you look great in those shoes. So 5 seconds later, you take off the shoes she said you look great in, and you put on some sneakers that you've never worn before to try and get another compliment from her, to try to look like you are good in those sneakers as well, when you could have just had the shoes you had on and she would have still been attracted to you. And now she's less attracted to you because she thinks you're insecure and you don't believe in your own ability. That's the same thing with Kimmich. He doesn't believe he can be the best right back of all time. You're so young, man, and you've had 2 great, excellent seasons now. Why don't you just continue at right back? What's wrong with playing right back? Right? Why? Apparently, he wants more responsibility. Great, go buy a dog and have kids, you'll have more responsibilities. But if you want the best out of the club from you as a player, you have to play the position where we can get the best out of you. If you're getting assists, you're defending okay at right back, you're attacking brilliantly, you're getting goals as well, you're contributing with your set pieces. What is the problem? Who cares if you're not the greatest defensively? Is Kimmich better than Lahm? No! Kimmich cannot. Imagine if Lahm was right next to Kimmich, right? Lahm is right here. Kimmich is right where I'm sitting. Kimmich could not see Lahm on his level. Lahm is on a different class. Philipp Lahm was consistent. Messi said it. He's the most consistent player ever. Philipp Lahm would always come out with a great game. You would think, wow, Philipp Lahm can finally be trashed today. And he just have a masterful performance in the game. Philipp Lahm and Kimmich are not on the same level. Lahm is on a different level. Lahm is one of the greatest of all time. Kimmich says he wants to be captain, and that's why. He's not going to be Bayern captain. Come on. I mean, when is he going to be Bayern captain? Is he going to be a Bayern captain before Alaba? No. Alaba is a better leader than him. The thing with Kimmich is he has a temper. Everyone knows I love Kimmich, but I also know he's not a freaking leader to do anything. Kimmich is a captain. He can wear the captain's armband, but he's not a leader for me. Leave a like on the video if you're watching. But for me, Kimmich has this stupid temper where he'll kick something when he's angry. But it's so useless because you're showing passion and aggression, but that's not all a leader does. A leader lifts his team up. A leader does, goes up and takes games by the scruff of the neck and performs well week in, week out. You can't be a leader and you're the one making silly mistakes. Kimmich has made a few silly mistakes in the last few games. He keeps getting away with it because, he's Kimmich and he had a great season last season. He had a great year in his career. He was nominated to be in the FIFA Team of the Year. Kimmich had a fantastic year last year, but he's not a CDM. He's not. For me, he does not make enough tackles. He's not as tenacious as he can be, and he's not as quick, right? Kimmich isn't slow, but he's not like quick. By quick, I mean alert to the situation. Alert. The right backs are supposed to read the center defensive midfielders are supposed to read the game. That's all you do. I'm a center defensive midfielder, right? Except I can probably defend better than Kimmich can. I can actually tackle, right? Your job is to stand in front of your back four. It's one of the most complicated but also simplest jobs. Stand in front of the back four, make sure nothing stupid gets past you or no stupid balls get on, right? You're supposed to win the second balls, you're supposed to be composed, and you're supposed to read the game, right? If a player's going to make a loose touch, you should be there reading the game and intercepting the ball. Look at Fernandinho, Fabinho, and Wilfred Ndidi, Rodrigo at Manchester City. What do they all have in common? They can read the game well, superbly. They have the ability to make 50 tackles per game, but not only that, they're very accurate when they make tackles. They never concede penalties. They don't do stupid fouls, right? Fernandinho at Man City does a few tactical fouls, but that's another role of a CDM, tactical fouls. Javi Martinez used to do that. Javi Martinez wasn't really a CDM because we had Bastian Schweinsteiger and Javi Martinez in that midfield. Bastian would drop in between the center backs and try to help in the build-up, whereas Javi Martinez would push a little bit higher, but when we lost the ball, you could tell who was the more defensive player. You could get Javi crushing tackles on the edge of the box, stopping the opposition from getting a chance at creating something. And that's what a defensive midfielder does. Why? I have done it. I know how to play this defensive midfielder, right? For example, let's look at me, for example. I used to be a winger, right? 2 years ago, you asked me what position I played and was favored in, I say winger. Because I'm a very technical player. Like, I know too many skill moves. I love watching Ronaldinho, Samuel Eto'o, right? When I was younger, I love watching Ian Robin, right? I even tried to be Robin, but with a right foot, right? I'm a very technical player. But my problem was I couldn't shoot unless I needed to shoot. Like, you know how players can just out of nowhere whip a 50-yard ball. I didn't do that as a winger. So I was always like trying to dribble and do too much, right? Then I discovered, wow, I like tackling. I like reading the game and I like the tactical aspects. Why don't I be a CDM? And I was a CDM, and I was excellent at it. Do you think Bayern is crazy enough to swap Kimmich for Coutinho deal with Barca? Hell no. We could be crazy. No, we wouldn't swap Kimmich. Kimmich is gonna stay here for as long as he can. You know, I think he wants to win the Champions League with Bayern Munich. We have to. You know, this decade we have to win at least 3 Champions League. That's where I'm at. I don't care what Real Madrid is doing, Barcelona doing. Bayern have to win 3 Champions League. Because last decade we should have actually won 3. Realistically, we should have been in more than 3 finals. We should have won 3 Champions Leagues as well. Because we had a Champions League final in our own stadium in 2012. We had one in 2010, right? Where we should have beat AC Milan. We should have beaten Chelsea. Why is it with Bayern we should have? Why is it that we can't just go for it and not regret it? So, for me, Kimmich cannot play midfielder. I know what a midfielder needs. A lot of people only talk because they want to read stats. But if you want to talk about stats, Kimmich wins the least duels out of our midfielders. Alright? That's the real stats. Kimmich makes the least tackles, he makes the least interceptions, and he wins the least amount of defensive duels. What does that tell you? It tells you he is not physical and composed enough to play CDM. He gets pushed around too easily for me. For me, like there was a game, right? I was in the CDM position, middle of the park. I dropped deep to collect the ball. I collected the ball, right? The opposition were pressing me. They came behind me and pushed me with really good force. What did I do? I didn't fall like Kimmich. I'm 6 foot tall. 6 foot, 155 pounds. I'm not the biggest guy, but because of the fact that I had that physical and aggressive edge in me, I didn't get pushed around and get a foul. No, the referee was like, okay, that's a foul, but I did not fall. I still had the ball on me, but it was a foul. So you have to understand, CDM isn't just about, you know, passing and all that and moving the game. Yes, it's a huge part of it, but that's why you have to have that balance. That's why you have to have a player that can also pass, but at the same time is very excellent defensively. At Bayern, where we're in the Champions League final, I don't want Kimmich a CDM. I want someone like a N'Golo Kante or Wilfred Ndidi who's going to make that tackle at the edge of the box, win the ball back, and play it to Serge Gnabry, and then we're on a counter-attack. That's what I look for in a CDM. I don't care, right? Thiago, for me, is a defensive number 8. Bayern can play a 4-3-3. We've proven that under Hansi Flick, we can play a 4-3-3, right? So, is Coutinho a better winger and Havertz could take his midfield spot? No. Coutinho is a better number 10. I think he's better in the hole because even if he was at wing, he'd probably still tuck inside and try to be central again. So Coutinho's so class that you can play him anywhere and he'd be decent and play and do a job for you. So for me, Coutinho is a better attacking number 10. Havertz, I don't think we'll sign Coutinho on a permanent, but Havertz is I've seen the boy play, not in real life, of course, but I know what he can do. I know what he can offer Bayern. He's going to bring a bit more classic and elegance, maybe old school, right? I imagine a midfielder like Thiago, maybe Goretzka, in that, or Thiago, or a defensive midfielder, and then Havertz and Goretzka. Havertz would be the more attacking number 8, and Goretzka would be the more defensive one. And then we have SANE, Lewandowski, Gnabry, and then who we're gonna have, a goalkeeper, Manuel Neuer or NUBEL. I can imagine Kimmich a right back. I can see Niklas Süle coming back and being the big man at the back we know he is. I can see David Alaba or Lucas Hernandez and Alphonso Davies at the left back spot. Alphonso has that left back spot like filled, man. And Kimmich, how are you just gonna leave right back? And like last season, our attacks were coming down Kimmich's side. Kimmich and Gnabry. It was all last season, right? You'd get a few attacks from the Alaba, Coman side, but they never really amounted to much, right? On the Kimmich side, Gnabry were always causing problems for opposition. Why then would we stop doing that? Why would we stop something that's already working? That's like me, right? getting sick, going to the hospital. They give me a bunch of drugs and they say, okay, this is what you'll take here at this time. You'll take this certain pill and you'll feel better after a month and a half of taking it. That's like me then going and picking up ibuprofen and then saying, oh, despite the doctor saying this is what I need, I'm just gonna not listen to them and use what I want to use. That's very, very hypocritical because it conflicts with what I'm supposed to be doing. Kimmich pocket Liverpool first leg, yeah, right back, not CDM, right back. We played so well at Anfield last season? Because we had a CDM and Thiago. Javi Martinez was the CDM we knew he was. He covered every inch of grass. Thiago as well, they were doing everything. Kimmich was pocketing Mane because of the fact that Kimmich would have a 2v1 and he always defends well because not only does he have a little bit more experience than most fullbacks do, he also has a very intelligent, Kimmich put Mane in his pocket. I think if we had Kimmich for the second leg and Thomas Müller for the second leg and first leg, we could have done something because those are the two players that I can look at when we're not playing well that they'll always be consistent. Kimmich was so excellent at right back last season. The best right back in the world. I genuinely think we could have overcame Liverpool at our own stadium if we had Kimmich and Müller. Because what did we have to do? We had to play James. James is not really a physical player. Liverpool like to get physical. Müller would have been pressing Liverpool. He would have been busting his guts to try and help the team. But James did not do that, did he? So, the way I see it, I think, Kimmich plays so excellently versus Liverpool. People think Kimmich is trash defensively. No, he's not great at defensive contributions, right? But when it comes to defending, like simple defending, he can do that. That's all I need. I don't care if you're the most greatest tackler in the world. Philipp Lahm was one of the greatest tacklers in the world. He never got a red card. Got like 16 yellow cards in his entire career, spanning over 500, 400 games. Philipp Lahm was a bad guy. He had absolutely everything. Respect, man. Messi comes out. When Messi tells you you're the most consistent player ever, you have to understand that is actually facts. When Lionel Messi tells a defender he's the most consistent, I don't know what to think about that. Also, now that we've talked about Kimmich a little bit and why I think he's a better right back than midfielder, right? Because he is. What I'm saying is facts. The fact that we had Kimmich as CDM and we had some of the least duels in the entire thing baffles me. So before I quickly go off, we'll look at who scored, see what Kimmich is about, right? We'll see a little bit of his stats before I go ahead and just move on. So Kimmich. Okay, so Kimmich, he's 24. We all know that, right? We go to his defensive stats. He makes 1.6 tackles per game, right? And he makes so basically 1.6 tackles per game, 1.1 interceptions, makes a few fouls, clearances. He rarely clears the ball. He always tries to pass it out. What are his strengths? Okay, look at this. Crossing. Oh, where do you cross the most? Right back. Okay, let's keep going. Holding on to the ball. Right back, because we play out of the back. Passing. Where do you end up passing and having to link up in the final third? Right back, right? That's where he's gotten most of the key passes. Remember when Gnabry would make a run in behind and then Kimmich would just place him through and then Gnabry would cross to Lewandowski or Coman or Goretzka and we always get goals? That's what happened. Taking set pieces. He's just good at that. Through balls, exactly. The key passes, the through balls. Concentration, dribbling, long shots. Those are the strengths. Now look at the weakness. Kimmich is not a good freaking tackler. He says his tackling is weak. Even though he has 1.6 tackles per game, he still has very weak tackling. Now, let's look at the game versus Schalke, right? Now, let's look at a game that I think Kimmich showed a little bit of his defensive deficiencies. The game versus Mönchengladbach, right? Now, everyone didn't play well, but Kimmich was on. No, not Kimmich. This was not he played right back. And weirdly enough, he was one of our best players. So maybe that's a a game to look at. So man, what am I doing? We need to look at the Bayern games. I need to see the games that Kimmich has ended up playing in. Okay, let's just look at the Schalke game. Okay, so match centra, right? So versus Schalke, Kimmich got a very high rating, which I absolutely disagreed with. I mean, he got an 8.1. He wasn't one of our best players, right? So let's look at this. Kimmich had one shot, 9.4% possession. He had he had the ball 9.4% of the game. This is pretty much 10%. 89 successful passes, 2 dribbles, 1 aerial lost. He lost an aerial duel. He won 2 tackles, but obviously we won the game, right? So for me, right, I don't think so. And then all saves, he didn't, like, you know what I mean? He made so many errors. I need to see a stat for that, but that's my point with Kimmich. I'm trying to make is he is not a destructive defensive midfielder. What about Pavard? Pavard is great, I think, but I have an interesting opinion on Pavard, right? I think he's a good, decent right back, but my problem is, Pavard does not have the pace, nor intensity or tenacity to play right back for Bayern Munich. Pavard was supposed to be a backup center back to Niklas Süle, right? And then we had Lucas Hernandez, 3 players for 3 positions. We need 4 realistically, but we had 3 players for 3 positions. The plan was to also implement Lucas May from the academy, so we'd have 4 players for 2 positions. Pavard was supposed to be a center back backup. What happened was Niklas Süle got injured, which meant that somebody had to be a center back, which gave Davies the opportunity to play, meant Pavard went out wide, Javi Martinez and Boateng were there to also be rotational players in the center back position. So what happened was Pavard, not only did we didn't get rid of Boateng, which we should have, right? Because that would have opened up room and made Pavard an actual backup at center back, but it removed that. It's so stupid from the board. Now we're having to play Pavard. Pavard was not supposed to be starting games for Bayern. 35 million does not mean you should be starting games. He's not, I think he's a good player. I just don't rate him as high as I rate Philipp Lahm. Like, yeah, Pavard's a solid right back. Philipp Lahm was one of the greatest right backs in football history. If I'm comparing Pavard, I'm going to compare him to who we had, and that's Philipp Lahm. And I'm also going to compare him to who we also had, that's Kimmich. And those two are miles ahead of him. Pavard is not an excellent crosser. He doesn't have amazing technique down the wing, and he doesn't have amazing link-up play with Serge Gnabry. Is that having to do with time? Don't think so. I just think Pavard is not the greatest attacking right back, nor is he the greatest defensive. He's good at tackling, right? Don't worry, he's good at tackling, but he's just not excellent at I mean, look at Pavard's deficiencies here. He is very weak at tackling. He does not dive into tackles. He clears the ball out of defense often. He's good at holding onto the ball. He's good at aerial duels, and he's good at passing. So it looks like, for me, Pavard is not the greatest. So that is going to be it for the stream. Great video, dude. I got to go. See you next time. That is it for the stream anyways. I enjoyed this. Thank you for being here. Yeah, Mia San Mia and peace. I made this a little bit too long. This is supposed to be like 15 minutes and it ended up being like 25 minutes. So yeah, Mia San Mia and peace.